Welcome to the St. Vrain Sports Report. We're glad to have you along with us. We got a good show for you this week as we're going to recap state golf. We're going to look ahead to what's going on in the RPI standings for softball and also preview the game of the week in football and take a look at other big events coming up later on this week in high school sports. But first off, we have highlights. Let's get right to it with some football. A couple of big matchups, cross-district rivalries. Erie hosting Meade. And scoreless game near the end of the first quarter when Gavin Mendoza connected with Grayson Schenbeck for a 37-yard touchdown pass. Erie up 7-0 early in this game. Mavericks would respond, however, with a short TD run by Jake Wachter. That would tie the game at 7-7. It would stay tied at the half at 7-7. Third quarter, a 35-yard pass from Brady Velteen to Trey Ward set up the Mavericks inside the Erie 5-yard line. And that was followed by Wachter, once again, a short touchdown run. That would put the Mavericks up 13-7 at that point, midway through the third quarter. Moments later, Eli Mackey sprints through to block the Erie punt, and Corby Tikus returned it to the 1-yard line, and Mavericks in business once again. Huge play for their special teams there. And on the next play, it's Braden Keys busting through for the touchdown run. 306 yards rushing for the Mavericks in this game. Erie trailed 27-7 in the fourth when Mason Vive threw a 33-yard touchdown pass to Schenbeck to try to get them back in it, but time was running out and Wachter and the Mavericks were just too much, and Wachter would strike once more, this time 46-yard touchdown run. He would finish with 136 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Great night for the senior. Meade remains undefeated at 5-0. Silver Creek at Longmont. Raptors coming in at 3-1. Longmont 2-2 and looking to bounce back from a 34-0 loss to Skyline a week earlier. First quarter, Longmont quarterback Keegan Patterson with the flip to Dylan Stott, and he goes 9 yards for the touchdown and an early 7-0 lead for the Trojans. Second quarter, Longmont looking to add to the lead, but a bad snap leads to a fumble recovery for Silver Creek, and the Raptors defense comes up with a huge play right there near midfield to set up the offense in great field position. And the Raptors, well, they would take advantage on offense. You see the defense celebrating a huge play there. And the Raptors would take advantage. Carter Clausen finding Cole Riders for a 49-yard touchdown pass. Riders 13 catches, 175 yards in this game. Game tied at 7-7 going into the half. Third quarter, Alex Estrada weaves his way through the Longmont defense for a 37-yard run. And that would get deep into Longmont territory around the 35-yard line. That would set up a 26-yard field goal for Riders. Raptors led 10-7. Riders, huge game, not only receiving, had 8 tackles on defense, he also punts and handles kickoffs. Longmont rallies, starting with a 27-yard pass from Patterson to Jack Mole. That gets them near midfield. Then a few plays later, it's Patterson to Sage Yazzie, who was playing quarterback early in the year. That would be for 21 yards down into Silver Creek territory. Yazzie with 8 catches on the night. And onto the fourth quarter, Patterson scores the go-ahead touchdown, 136 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground, and threw for 183 yards. What a great game for Patterson in this one. Silver Creek looking to answer. That fourth down pass falls incomplete. And then Longmont puts the game away as Patterson delivered another big run there. So a big win for Longmont. And just a quick note, Sage Yazzie dealing with some health issues with his father. I know he's been missing a lot of school, and Longmont really rallied around him last week. So best wishes to the Yazzie family as Sage and his family. Hopefully everything will go on and be healthy, and be fine with that family there. And Longmont can keep rallying around Sage. And I know that Doug Johnson, that Longmont family, they always are pretty close. And things like this will bring them even closer. So a couple notables, starting with state golf. It was Monday and Tuesday this week. Let's take a look at the scores from around the area. Now, team-wise, real quick, Frederick qualifying a team for the first time ever, and they finished 4th overall in the state tournament. Montrose won going away in this one. But Jake Chesler, the sophomore now, finished 10th overall for Frederick. He was 7th a year ago as a freshman. 2 top 10 finishes to start his career. Just a fantastic start for Chesler. The Warriors getting 3 guys in the top, or 2 guys in the top 21 with Colton Gabbard there at plus 14. Adam Gannon, his 3rd trip to state, He finishes 30th for Longmont. And Ben Harding for Silver Creek, the freshman, had a pretty good showing. And you see Niwot and Silver Creek with some golfers as well. And Joe Cartelli of Frederick rounding things out. He was 82nd place overall. John Reed of Skyline, a pretty good performance as well, getting into the state tournament. So a great job for those kids moving on to state and doing a great job at the state tournament earlier this week. Rankings in football, Meade is number 2 in Class 3A, and Frederick is at number 6. The Warriors keep rolling along. In boys soccer, Silver Creek is at number 5 in Class 4A, and in softball, Erie number 5, Silver Creek number 7, and Meade at number 10. Silver Creek, third consecutive Northern Conference title they have already wrapped up, 38-2 in conference games over the last 3 years. They finished 11-1 in conference this year, just on a tremendous run for the Raptors. In 3A, Lions is at number 8 in softball. In volleyball, 4A, Meade at number 7 and Erie at number 8. Let's take a look at the softball RPI because the regular season is wrapping up this week, and on Saturday, actually, the district matchups will be set. Now, 32 teams will make it in, so you look at the RPI here. Those top 3 teams at least are pretty safe. Silver Creek will get in and probably host. Meade and Erie will get in as well. Niwot sitting at 25. They should be okay. And Longmont at 31. They've got to play well. They've got 2 games this week against Greeley Central and Mountain View. They've got to play well this week to get into the playoffs, and hopefully they can do that. But we could have 5 local teams get into the 4A state tournament in softball, led by Silver Creek, and the Northern Conference champions just playing some great softball once again. Let's take a look at the Week 6 football scores from last week, starting with a couple of those games that we saw the highlights of. Meade over Erie 34-13. Skyline wins a thriller 35-34 against Holy Family. Chase Silva 18 for 34, 403 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Graydon Bridwell 156 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Frederick 47-7. They keep rolling along. Jake Green, the quarterback, 5 for 7, 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. He ran the ball only 5 times for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns, including an 83-yard run. One of his touchdown passes, by the way, was a 95-yarder to tight end Dylan Sindelar, who had 3 catches for 117 yards and 2 touchdowns. Frederick, like I said, just rolling along. There's that Longmont Silver Creek score, and Strasburg upends Lions, shuts them out. And Niwot upset by Eagle Valley. I thought Niwot was going to get that one, but Aiden Bartko, the quarterback, has had a great year for Niwot. Threw for 210 yards and a touchdown, but picked off 4 times, and that's huge in that one. So Niwot unable to get a victory there. So disappointing for them. Non-conference loss there, but Niwot still playing some good football this season. Let's take a look at the football schedule this week for Week 7 already. Hard to believe it's already Week 7, but Northridge at Erie on Friday night. Meade at Skyview. Silver Creek at Skyline. That'll be a good one over at the stadium. Niwot up at Thompson Valley, and Flatirons Academy is at Lions. On Saturday, Frederick will be at Northfield, where I expect the Warriors to roll once again. And Longmont's got a tough one over at the stadium on Saturday against Greeley West. So a couple good games at the stadium Friday night and Saturday. Now the game of the week, we're going to highlight that Silver Creek Skyline game. A couple of teams that have been very good in this area and are off to a pretty solid start this year. Let's take a look at that matchup. Both these teams 3-2 coming in, and really almost identical. There's a 1-point difference in how much they scored this season through the first 5 games. So both teams averaging about 25 points. Silver Creek's defense has been a little stingier than Skyline, but both are playing pretty solid defense as well. A couple players to watch out for. Certainly there's more than just these guys right here. But one of the keys for Silver Creek, the quarterback, Carter Clausen. He's thrown for 843 yards, completing 55% of his passes. And you see that 10-2 touchdown to interception rate, pretty good so far for Clausen. Skyline, they go as their quarterback Chase Silva goes, but the running back Michael McCrolla has had a great season as well. 320 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. He has topped the 100-yard mark twice already this season. So if they can get McCrolla going, as well as Silva, I think the Skyline has got a pretty good shot to put up some numbers in this game. But that should be a good one. Both these teams play good defense. Might be a low-scoring battle, but it might come down to those quarterbacks and what they can get done through the air and how much these teams can run the ball, because certainly Skyline has been able to do that in recent years. Let's take a look at the other games coming up in other sports, and starting with in boys soccer. Thompson Valley at Silver Creek on Thursday at 4 o'clock. Silver Creek 4-0 in Northern Conference play right now, 8-1-2 overall. They are looking good right now. Centaurus at Niwot on Saturday. Both these teams are top 3 in the Northern Conference right now. That'll be a big matchup on Saturday over at Niwot. In softball, Frederick at Meade. That's a big one for Meade as they try to play for playoff positioning at this point. And then Centaurus at Silver Creek. The Raptors, like I said, have already won the Northern Conference title. They're just looking to finish strong going into playoffs. In tennis, the 4A regionals are this week over at Niwot High School, Wednesday through Friday, and over at Niwot. Niwot should be very good in that one. Longmont as well, and those regionals should wrap up, I believe, on Friday morning with the championship matches. And then in volleyball, Silver Creek at Niwot, 2 of the better teams in the area will play each other on Thursday at 6:30, so that will be a good one. And one other note, we're doing the show on a Wednesday, and tonight Niwot Gymnastics has a home match, and so that'll be a good one, a chance to go see the local gymnasts over at Niwot High School. We want to thank Blaine Robinson and Don Gurton for all the behind-the-scenes work they do on the show, as well as Blaine and Tim Ellis for the video they get for us. Really appreciate that. Check out BocoPreps.com and the Longmont Times Call. They'll get you up to date on everything going on in high school sports in the area. And also like us on the web and check us out at, or like us on Facebook. Check us out on the web at longmontchannel.com where you can watch this or any other programs you like here on Channel 8. And as always, we want to thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you again next week.